Welcome back. Now, Edmund Mhlongo is a talented musical director who has made significant contributions to the South African music and theatre scene as the musical director of Nandi the Musical, currently showing at Soweto Theatre. The show tells a tale of Queen Nandi and embraces her legacy. Mhlongo is known for his ability to seamlessly blend traditional and contemporary musical elements, creating a vibrant and engaging auditory experience for audiences. Edmund joins us now in studio with the lead character Ntokozo Ngcobo and the lead vocalist Zawadi Yamungu to tell us more about this theatre production. A very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Morning. Thank you for having us.
You look so beautiful.
Well, thank you.
You know, you make me love being African, you know?
I'm also beautiful.
Oh, of course. It's an umbrella term, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm from Elangen, so.
Right. Let me start with you, Baba Mhlongo. What initially drew you to this production? I mean, how did you approach the musical direction for this production?
There's a lot of heritage about our African queens and stories that are not known. And Nandi is one of them.
Yeah.
He's a top 10 queen in Africa, one of the top hundreds in the whole world.
Yeah.
And secondly, very few people know the story of Nandi. We only know about his son, Shaka, but not Nandi.
Not much is known about Nandi.
The journeys and the challenges she came across, and the inspiration she gave to Shaka. We could not have had a Zulu kingdom without Nandi. So that story for me is important, and to tell it in a way that is going to be acceptable to the world and especially to the young people to understand their heritage. Music direction was the approach.
As much as this is a storytelling experience, how did you manage to blend contemporary and traditional music for this show?
It's experience, skill, you combine those two. And then also the talent. You must make sure that you've got the right talent.
Of course,
from the music direction, from the dance choreography, from the acting talent. It's very important.
Yeah.
Writing side, you make sure that the research, secondary and primary, is done perfectly, so that the story won't have any controversies and the questions that are unnecessary. So because you are informing the world, you're inspiring the people. So those things are very important.
Absolutely. And speaking of talent, I mean, you've got amazing talent here in the form of Ntokozo Ngcobo. Mapoloba, very good morning. Thanks for joining us. So what attracted you, or what drew you to this role of Queen Nandi?
What drew me into these roles? Okay, I think firstly, being cast as Queen Nandi, 2017, when we were actually having our auditions, that alone, it was, that pinch me awake moment. I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. I was doing something right out of 100 hopefuls that came through for our auditions. But that obviously was not, it was big shoes to fill. And it came with the willingness to accept huge responsibility, and that is to transform into character Nandi so truthfully, but also just being connected emotionally and most above all, spiritually. And that also wouldn't have been possible without a good direction from Edmund Mhlongo, who gave us good direction, good technique, good skills. And just as I always say, Ogoti, we have not gotten here alone, and neither will we go any further without the right people in our corner. So, I'm really, really humbled, and it's been such an exhilarating journey with tons of feels.
Yeah, you're quite right there. I mean, you're feeling very big shoes. This is a massive role that you're playing. So, what aspects of Queen Nandi's character that you can personally resonate with? I mean, how do you see yourself in her, if at all?
Gee whiz, there's a lot. I resonate with so much. I'm naturally graceful by nature, and my personality is very resilient. And so transforming into that part of the character Nandi was pretty much more like wearing comfortable clothes.
Yeah. Now, Zawadi, let me also bring you in. How did you become involved with Nandi the Musical? What's your role in it?
Thank you. My role is to preserve and bring back the ancient music, historical music, as we are telling a historical musical or show and bring to life and let our people to know and remember the music that was used before. So the story of Nandi has all the elements of indigenous instruments, indigenous music, and that's contemporary of modern music, and also there is traditional dance. So we are preserving all of our own and preserving our African stories.
Yeah. And what's the process of connecting music and lyrics to this production? I mean, how do you manage to infuse authenticity and emotion into the whole production?
Thank you. Basically, you are also telling a story, but through music. The lines and the storyline and the importance lines that Nandi is literally playing or saying, I am just translating that, but in the music essence. Yes. And it's becomes beautiful.
Yeah, I can't actually think of how you'd be able to tell a story through this particular instrument. It's called umakoyane.
This is umakoyane bow, and it was used in a long time ago. Yes.
Just take us back how a story can be told through this instrument.
There's a scene where I am playing a song ngithi iyanyakaza ingane esiswini sika mama, where omama bekhuluma bebhinqa uNandi when she was pregnant kodwa engakazi.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it.
Iyanyakaza ingane esiswini sika mama, iyanyakaza ingane esiswini yebabo. Hello, Baba no mama. Oh, andovuga zunand. Yena waye yoba yendovuga ziyakobo. Ati wakulisa umlilwana wabumba isizwe sakwaZulu. Nalokho ukuba yayingekho indlovukazi apha eceleni kwakhe. Athi hawu indlovukazi yalibamba iqhaze likhulu.
Come on, come on. That music just took me back to when I was a little kid watching Shaka Zulu, the original Shaka Zulu, with that bom 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 sound,
I'm sure that's pretty much what you expected.
Yes,
right.
Because there are those overtones from the bow, so that's why.
Yeah, of course. Now, Njobane, how do you believe this musical connects the audience on an emotional level, or enhances the storytelling through connecting the audience on an emotional level? That is,
it's very important. When we, as creatives, when we tell stories, especially as playwrights, screenwriters, or scriptwriters, it's very important to understand that whatever you do, you must connect emotionally. Each and every scene, the objective of each scene, you make sure that it carries the super objective of the entire story.
Yes.
And because when people go there into the theater and watch the production, what are they taking out? What are they going home with? Are they inspired emotionally? And now we're living in a society where there's a lot of GBV. And when you look at the story of Nandi, it talks about that. It elevates Nandi. She's well known as the first single parent in the whole world.
Sure.
And then that is how many single parents we have who are struggling to bring up bring out the young. Some mothers are bringing up the boys, but they can learn a lot from how Nandi made sure she inspired, she mentored Ushaga, and even going further than that and looking for other mentors like Chief Dingiswai of Kwamteto and say, here's my son, please help him so that he can become something big. And you remember, after the death of Nandi, the Zulu kingdom, the whole kingdom of King Shaka collapsed.
Wow, you know, Mhlongo lapha Mapoloba, he just mentioned something so profound that Queen Nandi was one of the first single mothers, but despite that, she managed to raise one of the greatest kings in the world.
Yes.
So what are some of the themes that the audience can take away after watching this?
I think it's into ebalulekile, and just to add on to a point kababa Mhlongo ukuthi uNandi was actually the greatest woman to shape King Shaka into the greatest warrior ever known in the history yakwaZulu, and agcine lapho nasemhlabeni wonke jikelele. And just to add on that, abantu, what they can take away from this show ukuthi thina as abantu besifazane, we've always been a resilient people.
Of course.
uNandi existed at a time where patriarchy remained a stumbling block, which probably still exists even namhlanje. She existed ngesikhathi lapho khona where women were seen as subordinate to men, and motherhood were their primary roles. They were not expected to concern themselves with matters outside of their own homes. So courage ne wisdom yakhe is something that I believe the audience draw out of that. And just to go, we've always been a resilient people. So many times kudala sifunda ngemlando yama kings who have ruled throughout history. Eminye yaleyo mlando sayifunda ezikoleni, sikhulunywa ngo Cecil John Rhodes. Namhlanje abangasenzeli lutho. And we've said so little about women who were crowned as queens and led African kingdoms with nobility. So ngiyafisa ukuthi i-audience namhlanje ithathe leyo inspiration nokuthi bayitshele bona ukuthi I will use wisdom kaNandi, strength kaNandi, courage kaNandi as a first step to practicing black woman excellence.
All right. Ah, man, thank you so much for joining us. Yo, this is so profound. I mean, it's taking me back to on an emotional level. Great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Indeed, indeed.
You must thank the Langeni people for ensuring that Nandi was there.
But of course, but of course. All right, we're just chatting to musical director of Nandi the Musical, Edmund Mhlongo, with the lead character Ntokozo Ngcobo and the lead vocalist Zawadi Yamungu about the role they played in putting the show together. I want to hear more music. I want to hear this. I can't let you go. Can't let you go without allowing you to play more music. Yeah.
Inwele zami zingome ngoba zinhle. Uma ubona ibala lami lingome ngoba lihle. Ibala lami lihle. Amabele ami de mahle. Ifika yami de Inte, kodwa isinqe sami sihle ukuhamba kwami